We've got a text here on 81089 from Chris. He says, "Evening, guys. Classic overreaction on Rashford after one good game. He couldn't be bothered to turn up to training when Amorim arrived. He's put in 0 good appearances over the past 2 years, contributed nothing really for Villa last year." I don't think that's that true. He was all right for Villa. And last night was his first contribution to Barca in 6 games. Want to see him succeed as a Manchester United fan, but I had absolutely no issue with him leaving.
Yeah, I think I understand that mentality. But what I would say to that is that Ruben Amorim in particular, his responsibility when he came into a new club was to make sure that the better players at the club were welcomed, a clean slate for everyone. Try and inspire Marcus Rashford. Marcus Rashford was always one of the better players at the club. I appreciate the text message. I appreciate the tone of it. He hadn't demonstrated it enough. He hadn't run his heart out for the club. He hadn't tried hard enough. But anyone that can remember Old Trafford absolutely rocking to the Stone Roses. Remember that? Marcus Rashford, his Manc born and bred and all that. The entire away end at Stamford Bridge was bouncing to that exact song. There was once a love, and the love was born out of the brilliance of Marcus Rashford. I think that Amorim had a responsibility to try and coax that performance out of Rashford again.
Do you not think the relationship, though, with the club had just reached a point of no return?
Yeah, it had.
So what's Amorim meant to do?
Well, I think an excellent manager comes in and inspires his best players to play well, inspires his best players to stay. Part of your job, part of your responsibility as a manager is to make sure that the best players at the club are playing. I think Amorim is a dreadful manager, so he's never going to be able to do this. I think it's a travesty, though, to use an example. At Manchester United at the moment, a player as brilliant as Kobe Mainoo is sitting on the bench watching Manuel Ugarte play football. That's ludicrous. Similarly, when Ruben Amorim was the Manchester United manager, a player of Marcus Rashford's quality was sitting on the bench watching Anthony play football.
Yeah, but those problems started before Amorim, to be fair. 03717223344. Ryan is a Manchester United fan. Ryan, do you agree with Rory there that Amorim had a bit more of a responsibility with Rashford? Could have got the best out of him?
Evening, gents. How we doing?
All good, mate?
Not massively, I have to say. I quickly rang in because I heard some of the comments, around 20 minutes ago in your discussion. I think there's 2 sides to it, to be fair. I don't blame Marcus for moving on, and fair play to him. But I also think we have to remember a new manager coming in. I'm sure he did give everyone a clean slate. And if he wasn't getting the attitude he needed, then he won't be the first or the last Premier League manager to let a player go based on attitude. I don't think anyone's doubting the talent that's inside the man. I think it was possibly just an attitude problem, and obviously he's got a standard to set and show the rest of the group that he's not going to take it, sort of thing.
Yeah, I agree, Ryan. But do you not also think everything you've said? I agree with, but do you not also believe that on some level it is Ruben Amorim's responsibility to get the best players at the club playing for the club, loving the club, and playing well for the team?
100%, definitely. But what you do, you can lead the horse to water. It's hard to say. I guess we have to make a few assumptions when we're discussing this, but if he was enabling the best possible environment for the player to flourish and he simply wasn't turning up or wasn't giving his all for whatever reason, then he's probably left with very little other option. But a fresh start is probably going to do him good, and all the best to him. I hope he makes it to the World Cup.
Yeah, great call, Ryan. 03717223344. I kind of see what he's saying. Maybe the relationship had soured to such a point that it was almost a point of no return. Even if Amorim was going in there and saying, "Look, mate, I want to give you a chance." If Rashford's then decided, look, you know what, my future's away from this club, there's not a lot that he could do. David is a Manchester United fan. What are you making of this, David?
Hi, lads. You okay?
Yeah, all good. How are you?
Yeah. I'm just a bit annoyed, to be honest, about this coming around to again. You just said it perfectly. He's the one that came out to the reporter and said, "I want to chat in somewhere else." To start with, okay. Second thing, it's not Amorim. He was and been half-assed for the last 3 to 4 years, and I've been to Old Trafford many a times and watched those half-lapsadaisy performances where he can't even be asked to track back. His head's down. He loses the ball. He doesn't even try running forward and taking players on. You just go forward, take a couple of steps, look back, pass it backwards. Never even take a player on. I haven't seen him take a player on the way he did yesterday at Barcelona in about 4 years.
But he's man of the match. He's the same fellow that you're talking about as man of the match against the Premier League opposition in the Champions League.
When was the last time he was man of the match anywhere? When?
Yesterday.
Yeah, when was the last time?
They played against PSG for Villa, arguably as well. He had a good spell at Villa.
Did he get the match?
Yeah,
No.
I'm pretty sure he got
No,
man of the
he
match in that
didn't,
game.
Second, another thing, he went out partying after we lost 3-0 to Man City.
Yeah, it's
He's
true.
supposed to be born in Wythenshawe, Manchester City, but Manchester boy. And he goes out on the party in the most expensive nightclub. Then he goes to America when Amorim just got announced as manager. Instead of being at the training ground, begging for him to get a start, he goes off showing his bling off at the NBA. And then you got you guys who bigging him up saying, oh, Rashford what?
I mean, we're bigging him up because of the performance that he put in last night against Premier League opposition. And then you think about how Manchester United have struggled this year. That's why we're bigging him up.
Yeah, I do think David made some good points there. You know, the fact that, you know, Amorim's got, if you were Amorim, mate, and you've got this guy in interviews kind of saying, look, my future's away from me. I don't really want to be here. Like, what are you meant to do?
I do agree.
Eventually, you've got to get to a point as a manager where you go, look, this guy does not want to play for me. There's no turning this round. He clearly just doesn't want to be at this club. So you cut losses and move
Ollie,
on.
there's a difference. I agree. You know the call that we just had there that was quite hostile to Marcus Rashford? Everything that he said, on some level, I agreed with. And there was a time when I was saying that Manchester United just need to get him out the club. They need him out the door. He isn't turning up. He isn't playing well enough for them. And his disciplinary issues were a problem. But I'm a fan. Somebody at the club, somebody like Ruben Amorim, somebody who can sit with Marcus Rashford, needs to have a conversation with him and identify that the talent is capable of being a man of the match on a Champions League occasion and somehow make him want to play for Manchester United again. You cannot sell your best players. You cannot allow your best players to leave. If you do, you'll end up languishing around the relegation zone.
I just think it might have been too far gone. Alex is a Newcastle fan. Alex, talk to me, mate. It was annoying last night, wasn't it? What did you make of the way Howe set up?
Yeah, I thought it was annoying last night. I was really excited about that game since the draw was made.
Yeah.
And obviously with Anthony Gordon being suspended in the league, I think we knew he was going to be starting last night, but I just assumed he'd be out on the left. And I can see why he's gone with that front three, because Barcelona hold a high line and he wanted to hurt them with pacing behind. And we saw that a couple of times with Elanga down the right, but Anthony Gordon is just not a striker and he should not be playing up there. And once I saw the lineup, it just knocked all the stuffing out of me, really. I was fuming, and I was just that exciting, that confidence went then, because I knew that we were going to struggle to score goals with Anthony Gordon in that position.
Yeah, do you know what? You're absolutely bang on. As soon as I saw that lineup, just a bit of that excitement left me. And mainly because, Alex, I don't know if you agree, but it's just, we've seen the evidence from the first few games of the season where Gordon was doing his best in that position, don't get me wrong. And obviously Newcastle were in that annoying and strange situation because of Isak going on strike. But because of the evidence of that, I was like, you know, I just don't really see how they're going to get the best out of who's playing up front. And the proof was in the pudding, wasn't it? Because, you know, Anthony Gordon had that huge chance early on and he misses it.
Yeah. We saw the evidence at the start of the season, and we also saw it. We've seen it last season. Any time when Gordon's had to play there, you know, when Isak goes for on goal, because he's such a good finisher, you know he's going to score. You just know he's going to hit the back of the net. When Gordon goes through, you know that somehow or other, however good a chance it is, you know he's going to find a way to miss it. Really, he is the goalkeeper, or you know. So I weren't happy when I saw Gordon was starting up front, and even on the first game of the season against Villa, I was screaming out for Asula to start.
Yeah.
He's shown some bright, you know, he's a natural striker. He's shown some bright touches when he's played. He's looked lively. And Eddie Howe, for some reason, I don't know what it is, I know he's got his favourites in that, but he seems really against playing the likes of Asula and Lewis Miley, and he don't seem to have trust in the younger players.
Yeah, absolutely. Alex, great call. 03717 22 3344. And the other point to that is as well, like, for me, just play Volterman. You know, he had cramps after the Wolves game. He was, you know, absolutely knackered, but just play him for 45 minutes even, because Newcastle will be at their most energetic, at their best, running Barcelona ragged at the start of that game.
But there's a lot of positives. Like Alex's
Oh
call,
yeah, for
Alex's
sure.
call is correct.
Yeah.
Like it is spot on. Like there was some sumptuous football played by Newcastle. And you look at the quality of the goal. I know it came too late, but the quality of the goal, the incisive passing, the crisp finish. Like basically, we're sorry to say it, but with Alexander Isak, you probably win the game.
Who?
With a centre forward, you probably win the game.
Yeah, absolutely.